Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And there's a lot of deep things going on, and the lines have been crossed, battles are taking place, and it seems as though America is at war for the spirit of the Afro man, or better, I say this, against the spirit of the Afro man. Brother, dang, and I forget his name, but he sent in the comment section, Job 9, verse 24. So I went and read the whole chapter of Job 9. For those of you that know that if you send me a scripture, I'm probably going to go read it. But I don't read just the line that you gave me, or quote unquote the scripture that you gave me. I tend to go back and read the whole thing so I can get a complete understanding. All right. And if I have to read more, and so understand, I will not compare a scripture in Job to a scripture in Isaiah and say these are the same. They're conveying two different ideas, is because one you have Job speaking and the other one you have Isaiah speaking. But I'll read everything Job has to say about something. Now, if I wanted to get a more complete thought on something, I'll read the whole thing that Isaiah have to say on the same subject. All right. But I won't compare lines upon lines, precepts upon precepts. It's because that is a trick of hermeneutics coming from Hermes. That's a trick that enables you to take anything in scripture out of context. What you should do is read things as a pericope. What a pericope is a complete statement. All right. So if you want to know what Job is saying about a particular thing, and somebody gives you a scripture, read all of the chapter so that you can put the scripture they gave you in context. Then when you see it, you will be like, oh, wow, I can see what Job is talking about. All right. Now, it's the same way. If you want to see, some of the times, a lot of them are talking about the same thing. So you have to read completely everybody's idea from it. You can't take, say, Brother Dwight and Brother Antonio Johnson and Taurus Johnson, right? You can't take a sentence that each one of us say about something and think you're going to come to some kind of epiphany based on, because we all have different experiences. But if you read the complete context of our experience, you'll be able to come away with an overarching view of what's going on in a population as a whole. All right. So understand that this is important when you look at what happened in Orlando Bloom, and not Orlando Bloom. See, I'm getting names mixed up. But this is what happened in American Gods, where they got rid of Mr. Nancy because they didn't like the fact that he was saying that some of the times he said it's good to get angry because anger gets SH done. It's a concept that many of these sold out, weak-minded, punani worshiping simps do not understand. But it is something that Hollywood and the liberal media and, and I say this is because they're the ones that had a chokehold on the spirit of the Afro people. Has never been the Republicans, period. All right. So let me greet everybody. Horvorten Harduguda Ola Oitube. Bossas Los Bonjour mes amis. Kedu Bawani Konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama. Sani Bonani. Jambo Baragani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. Now, as we break down a lot of other things, I want y'all to understand some things. Afro men are now angry and they are doing SH about it. Think about that. And it's the liberal media, liberal side of governments that is worried because they're the ones that had a stranglehold on us as a community. Think about that. The Republican, they now see a way in, right? But now Republicans understand that they are never going to be able to wield the power over us because we know for sure not to trust them. I keep telling people, Afro men are not Republican. We just like Trump, but because we like somebody that's telling the truth without the BS, even if we don't like the message. Think about that. Real quick, let me remind you, let's get those thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. To donate to the channel, my Cash App and my PayPal me will be in the description box. And while I teach us things, just keep this in mind, that this channel is not here just for speaking, but it is to benefit communities as we as Afro men see fit. So basically, we feel like it's a waste of our time to deal with the single mom, to deal with any of the people that have shown us animosity in the past. All right, we now know who they are. So we now look out for the children because that's going to be something. All right, and I had an idea about something too, and I'll explain it after this. Okay. Mr. Nancy. All right, I'm gonna cheat real quick because my mind went blank. Never mind, I'm not going to cheat because I got his statements. I got a quote from him. All right, Mr. Nancy, one of the African gods. He's the African god of mischief and storytelling. Very powerful African god. As a matter of fact, one of the things that came to light is if you listen to the Hoteps tell it, even though they're talking about Ra or Cyrus and Set and all the rest of it, most of your major gods are male. Yet these dudes want you to worship the female, the very female that's destroying the community, the very spirit that is destroying the community, the very spirit that has eliminated from 22 million to 60 million of us through, well, the womb. Think about that for a second. I told one woman that even Planned Parenthood in their pamphlet says that what makes abortion different from birth control is that abortion is a operation procedure that takes a life. So what do you call it when you're taking an innocent life? A life that didn't do anything to you. Yeah, in a penal code, we call that homicide. In the penal code, but they made that legal if a woman does it in their womb. All right. So they get rid of the strongest of strong male characters. The one that has been exciting the people. But here's the thing. The least of their worries was a character on the show. At least with him. At least with this character, Mr. Nancy. They could feel like, okay, maybe these people are trying to see that we have some beef. But no, when they got rid of them, they're shown that, at no point do they want to have this discussion unless it's forced upon them. But recent events, after all of this, recent events has thrusted the injustices that this country has always done against the Afro men, and we're talking about the good ones, has thrusted that into the forefront. And now, as a collective group, with the exception of the Triple S crew, the secret simp societies, the Afro men are collectively waking up, and they are getting angry, and they are talking about getting SH done, and we're doing SH, getting it done. The irony is we're doing what everybody did not expect. Many Afro men in this next election, because of how wicked the Democratic Party is, how they change rules at whim to suit themselves, how they're all being run. I mean, let's put it this way. Remember that one of these things do not belong here. Can you tell me which one it is? Right? Well, who's running the Democratic Party? Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, their cronies. You don't have a single strong man in the Democratic Party at all. Period. All right. The Senate is the Democratic senators are being run by Nancy Pelosi in the House. But in the Republican Party, she can't run none of the people in the House, and she ain't got crap on the Democratic senator. I mean, the Republican senators in the Senate. Oh, and Trump, he ain't having none of that. I want y'all to peep game. All right. So imagine their surprise when they have angered men, Afro men, in such a way that Democrats are about to lose them for a long time in perpetuity. So long as the Republican Party can produce somebody that is honest like Trump. Oh, Trump is honest. Ignorant? Yes. Egotistical? That's every president. All right. But honest? Yes. Have been set up? Yes. Have been treated like us by the Democrats and the media? Yes. Have been lied on? Yes. They made it easy for many ignorant people to accept the lie over the truth? Yes. Even PolitiFact. I was watching Viva Fry Montreal litigator, right? And he started to figure out, this is a guy in Canada, that you can't trust PolitiFact because they are partisan on the liberal side. So nothing that they're saying is actually true. And they're lying on the president. They're no longer an unbiased entity. And even until I saw his examples, I will put his thing in the description box. I will put the video in the description box. Even when I saw his example, I was like, dang, you just can't trust anybody in the media at all. Period. Especially if they're on the left. We already don't trust them if they're on the right. See, that's what gives us power. We've awakened and we know that, okay, we can vet any statement. Understand? So what's going on with this? What does that have to do with this? The people in Hollywood sought to keep us pacified by making sure that messaging like Nancy, Mr. Nancy, and American Gods never got a foothold in the minds of the Afro men, because they used the BAW, you know who, against the Afro men, the children against the Afro men, all of the media against the Afro men, all the sports organizations that Afro men like. The messaging was monolithic and the same. And I kept wondering, what is it about us that this attack is so pervasive on the Afro men? They're trying to take away our manhood, our spirituality, our mentality. And if they could, they would make sure we have a very, very short life. But see, they need us to make them the money. All right. So they need us to be physically strong, but mentally weak. Ooh, that sounds like the Willie Lynch papers. And just in case, if you're listening to this right now and you want a copy of the Willie Lynch papers, just send me a message to my email address or in the comments section. Let me know. Well, send a message to my email address, which is in the description box. If you do not, at this point, go in the description box to get the email, I'm not sending it to you. I do enough work, and some of the times we as men, and some women, but we as men need to start doing a little footwork ourselves. It shouldn't be that difficult to look in the description box, get my email, say, I would like that. If you want the Apocrypha, the Book of Enoch, I have that too. If you want the Book of Jasher, I have that too, in PDF form. But I do have the Willie Lynch letters, right? So basically, Orlando Jones took to social media on Saturday, this was a while back, claiming that he was fired from American Gods, which he was, because his character, Mr. Nancy, sends the wrong message to Black America. All right, that's a quote from him. There will be no more Mr. Nancy, Jones told fans in a video posted on Twitter and Instagram. And this turned off a lot of Afro people from watching this show. All right. So when they took away the message, they also took away a lot of people from watching this show. All right. In which he claims that he was fired from the Starz series September 10th. Don't let these, mofos tell you they love Mr. Nancy. They don't. He says, I'm not going to name names, but the new season 3 showrunner is Connecticut born and Yale educated. So he's very smart. And he thinks that Mr. Nancy's angry get SH done attitude is the wrong message for Black America. And when he's talking about Black America, he's talking about particularly the Afro men. See, the BAW, who has already sold out to the system to be against us. Period. If they supported us, then they would see the deal and they wouldn't come up with these lame excuses like, oh, it's who y'all been choosing. That's H8 telling the truth. Y'all need to compromise with us. You don't compromise with somebody that's doing wicked against you. The actor and comedian continued. This Caucasian man sits in that decision-making chair. And I'm sure he has many Black BFFs who are his advisors and made it clear to him that if they did not get rid of that angry God, Mr. Nancy, he started Denmark Vesey uprising in this country. I mean, what else could it be? And again, the intellectuals, the so-called intellectuals working for all of these companies, for all the news media, these are the people, the very people who are selling us down the river so that they could get More money, more money, more money. Like Susan Rice, like Michael Eric Dyson. All right. None of these guys, who's the other one that was on TV1? I forget his name. But he had a show on TV1, and now he's supposed to be putting together another BET that's going to still be run by Caucasians. We don't have our own stuff because if we use their media platform, it will never be our own. A lot of these dudes are going to YouTube because they're looking for credibility that they don't have. They have a whole bunch of robots. They have a whole bunch of zombies that listen to them, but no credible people listen to them holistically all the time. Every once in a while, they'll say something that gets, okay, yeah, that was true. But most of the time, we see them as fake because they are. Another thing about Orlando Jones, he was a writer and producer. So that not only did they get rid of an actor, but they got rid of the writer and producer. Now, let's look at who they kept. I want y'all to see who they kept. There are no strong Afro male characters left. All right. You got the third from the left. She plays Bilquis. Let me tell you something about Bilquis. Bilquis is supposed to be the love goddess, but it's not love, try lust goddess. All right. It's not the goddess of love. And so the show, written by Caucasians, conflated love with lust. In a scene in season 1, she swallowed up a man whole during intimacy. Through her, yeah, you know where and you know what. Swallowed him up like a python. All right. Matter of fact, you ain't seen her in any kind of close relationship with an Afro male on this show. Period. She follows the Caucasian head god. Mr. Yancey seemed independent of everybody else. The head god oftentimes went to Mr. Yancey for advice for what's going on. Understand this. So, all else are welcome on this show. All groups are welcome on this show. You know, the alphabet group? Because there are scenes in this show, you know, the men sing with the Greek gods, you know, the Greek gods of, let's say Ganymedes. Look up Ganymedes. The history of the painting. And look up the original name of Ganymedes. The painting of Ganymedes. And let's put it this way. Is Zeus coming down as an eagle, taking away a beautiful baby? All right, that's the picture of Ganymedes. All right, and you have all these ideas. No more do you have a strong Afro male idea, because that's a threat. What? To us waking up. Why? Because while we were asleep, the plantation we was on was the liberal one. And now that we're starting to think independent of our handlers, that would be the BAW, you know who, and the liberal overall overseer masters and creator of such a wicked system, they are now worried. But see, they were worried before that this guy would ignite them or us. But what happened is something else ignited the Afro men, and they started to see the BAW, you know who, for who they were after the tragedy of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and 7 other people. There's the fake crying over the feelings of people who weren't on a helicopter, but that tried to drag a man through the mud since he couldn't defend himself, right? And we started to see who these liberal people really are. We also started to see who the BAW know who truly are and how they didn't now, nor have they ever had our back. And even many of the simps are starting to wake up. But they were worried about this guy. All right. So she's on there. All of her love interests as Sheba, the African queen, goddess, are Caucasian. Pay attention to that. Apple looking thing in her hand. Pay attention to that. All right. She represents the desires and the hearts of the so-called BAW, you know who, in America. They want to be worshiped, and they think their punani has power. And that's what her power, that's where her power is. Think about that. So it goes to say, all these simps were trying to say that this is our creator, the creator of the universe. I'm saying, brothers, watch out for the simps, because they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know the hell that the Most High may rain on them for this kind of blasphemy. Again, everybody else is a puppet of the head god that's supposed to be like Zeus. All right. Everybody else is a puppet of the Caucasian system. This is supremacy at its best. The whole system, I thought about this. Every government system buys into this supremacist idea that the way that it's destroying the earth quicker than anything is the best way because, well, they have the money and we're greedy. Without greed, supremacy would not exist. All right. And so there you have it. You have a woman that swallows anybody that gets with her up in the VJJ. And when you think about this, this is literally what is happening to the Afro man when he gets with the BAW, you know who, you know, the melanated female. This is what happens to it. Her VJJ swallows him up and his resources. And he gets imprisoned as a result of that, even though she didn't have to go that route. But she goes that route because she don't care about anything but herself. And meanwhile, they hope to pacify the strength of the Afro man, but it's not happening. At the end of the day, we're running away from this. We're understanding that this is not our creator. And if the simps don't get it, it's their loss. And we're saying, brothers, it's time for you to save yourself. Because the fruit ain't worth the squeeze. With that said, I'm out.